With the terrain built and the Viking Village set placed in the previous episode, we can now start expanding the village by adding more builds to it. The first area I wanted to work on is the shipyard and docks to the left of the Viking Village. We will first work on the shipyard before placing a ship that is currently under construction here. I pre-built some terrain work in preparation for other structural builds. It's supposed to represent piles of dirt and sand stabilizing some wooden logs holding up the ship. The ship is built on a declining slope so that once it's finished, it can be pushed down into the sea, but the 2 front logs prevents this until they are removed. The other 6 logs are just ordinary supports holding up the ship's hull. Next, I added some raised wooden walkways circulating around the ship, giving builders better access to the ship. There are some ladders here for workers to climb up onto the ship's deck. These walkways also link up with the docks at the front, as well as a workshop behind the docks. With the space prepared, we can now work on the ship. I wanted to create a build that represents our stages of construction throughout. The ship is basically completed at the front with planking done, but gradually becomes less completed towards the back where there's just a skeletal frame to be seen. Professional shipbuilders will probably be commenting below that this is not accurate, since each stage of the build has to be completed before moving on to the next stage, but I think this looks better and I'm not aiming for accuracy here. I went with the same decking as my modified Lego Creator 3-in-1 Viking ship's deck, using medium nougat tiles to create some gradients of colors throughout the build. The frame in the middle is a simple build, but for the back I used flexible tubes and hose pieces to mimic the shape of the front hull piece. I also made the dragon figurehead at the front look half completed, with one side looking more refined than the other. With the ship done, we can now place it on the supporting wooden logs here. I created some extra scaffolding for an artisan currently chiseling away at the dragon figurehead up top. We also have a few Vikings working on the ship since they're not away on raids elsewhere, with their wives and daughters helping out as well. Next build is a workshop for the shipyard. It's basically a 2-in-1 space for blacksmithing and woodworking. But the blacksmith is only a minor component meant for tooling, parts and repairs, unlike the weapons and armor blacksmith in the Viking Village set. The build itself is a combination between the longhouse build and the blacksmith build in the set. The walls are similar to the longhouse, but enlarged from a 12x16 space in the set to a 14x22 space for this build. There are no gold trimmings here since it's an industrial structure rather than a ceremonial one. I've also added workshop printed signs instead of the serpent designs to further convey this idea. The furnace design is the same as the blacksmith to keep things in theme with the set, but here it is built into the wall. The roofing technique is the same as the blacksmith, but scaled up for the larger build. The thatch roofing is a bit more detailed as well, but I kept the color scheme the same as the set. I decided to use this roofing technique to keep the raking design the same as the blacksmith in the set. With the workshop placed, we can now work on terrain and pathing around here, and link it up with the main path that was laid in the previous episode. I created another wooden truss bridge, same as the last episode, to cross the river here, but minor changes were made to the bridge since the terrain is a bit different. After that, I redesigned the old path to create a fork in the road linking everything together. To place the Creator Viking ship here at the docks, I needed to expand the underwater zone of the diorama. Since this is underwater, I needed to place the ship raised up to the sea level above using clear supports. I built water plates with the fading out effect like those around the land for the ship as well, and placed the ship on top of the plate using weak connections so the ship can be removed when needed. After that, there are just a few more bits and bobs to be added, such as crates, materials, roping for the docked ship, an anvil and some minifigures.
Chief, Rodmar called. Do you remember the ship I spoke of? The one that sailed from the western shores towards Linesguard months ago? The one with golden trim, shining like the sun itself? Aye, the one you could not catch. Chief Osvold's voice was heavy with the truth. That be the one. I've had word from Ulfgrim. He's kept watch on the coast near Linesguard. A great battle took place there. Thousands of orcs came marching from the east. And how does that trouble me? The chieftain interrupted. Well, Ulfgrim said those warriors aboard the ship, they helped hold the city. Now there's but half of them left, and they're set to sail back west. This be our moment, Chief. Rodmar's eye gleamed. I've been thinking about that ship. There's more to it than gold trim. There must be great treasure in its hold to guard it so. Sigmund, my son, Chief Osvold said, turning to his eldest. You've never failed me. Take the men and lead this raid. Go now. What of me, father? Sigvid, the younger son, spoke with fire in his blood. I wish to join in this glory. Nay, Sigvid, you'll kill too many, as you always do. I need prisoners, alive. The Sondarim grow restless. They'll turn on us if we don't fulfill our duty, soon. Sigmund, the chief's firstborn, gathered his warriors. The longboat was readied, and the men set their eyes on the horizon, prepared to face the open ocean. Halt! Sigmund bellowed, raising his sword to hold back the men. Well, well, if my eyes don't deceive me, this is a half-elf, guarded by elves and men, and draped in the royal colors. By the gods, you must be Prince Helenar, heir to the kingdom of the crown. Father will be pleased indeed.
I'd like to give a big shout out to our channel members supporting the creation of Scarellus, with a special thank you to Fennec, our captain of the guards. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.